gap, then we start on at least 30 seconds or 1 minute.
Very good evening. Jai Shri Krishna. Sorry. Very good evening. Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining the Bhagavad Gita Satsang, the way of life, as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We'll be continuing chapter 3, that is the Karmayoga or the Yoga of Action. In this chapter, right now, Lord Shri Krishna is describing to Arjuna the marks of the wise and the unwise, instruction about performance of action without attraction and repulsion. And the last one he will be describing in this chapter would be how to overcome desire. So we have done till verse 32. So let us continue from verse 33 onwards. So chapter 3, verse 33. All living creatures follow their tendencies. Even the wise man acts according to the tendencies of his own nature. Of what use is restraint by force? Just a quick recap about the earlier teachings which Lord Shri Krishna had imparted to Arjuna. In that he was telling why it is so important for everyone to do their duties. And Lord Shri Krishna gave example of wise men, how they live, how they do, how they work, and why it is important to work. Even for the Lord Almighty himself, when he manifests on this planet earth, when he takes up a human form, why it is important to perform his duties. And in that he is explaining to Arjuna that please remember Arjuna, for me there is no duty. I don't have anything that needs to be attained or anything is unattained, yet to be unattained. He has attained everything, yet he says that I come and do my duties. I have no work to perform, but still I work. So you, as a warrior right now, cannot say that I don't want to fight. He's saying even to maintain this body, people have to work. So there is no escapism from the action. That is what he taught Arjuna, and he gave different explanations about how does the wise and the unwise act. And he's saying, please remember, everybody has to perforce perform the same action born of their own nature, because everybody is operating in the modes of Prakriti, that is their primordial nature. So now, and the last thing that he taught Arjuna was, if anybody is finding fault with this teaching of mine, please remember, and do not follow it. Take those fools to be deluded in the matter of all knowledge as lost. So he's saying, if the world doesn't follow, his teachings or find fault with his teaching and do not do what he's asking them to do, he's saying these deluded fools, he's calling them very interesting, in an interesting word. He's saying deluded fools will be lost in the knowledge of all matters. No knowledge will exist. They will then become some, creature. They will be born as some creature in the future lives of theirs. So they will have to go, come back again and again. Why? Because they are not listening to the instructions of the Divine Lord. So let us continue now. Chapter 3, verse 33. So once again, let me read it. All living creatures follow their tendencies. Even the wise man acts according to the tendencies of his own nature. Of what use is restraint by force? What does that tell you? That all living creatures follow their tendencies. Everybody has their own tendencies, and it is very difficult to overcome tendencies. Tendencies are not just from the present life of us. Tendencies come from many previous lives of ours, previous births. And that is the tendency we carried in every birth. Some are carried forward from our previous births, and some, we acquired them in our current life. So it continues. So everybody, he's saying all living creatures follow their tendencies. And this is one very difficult thing to overcome. It can be a tendency to drink. It can be a tendency to, speak loudly. It can be a tendency to get angry, upset, whatever that can be the tendency. It can be a tendency that people like to, go play cards. They're addicted to something. Those are all the tendencies. And the tendencies not necessarily be a bad tendency. The tendencies can be good as well. So it depends. But if you don't nurture the good tendencies, the bad tendencies are always on the forefront. We say, right, it's our vrittis, we call it vrittis, but it's very difficult to overcome. It could be somebody smoking cigarette. Have you seen people who smoke cigarettes? It's a tendency that they have acquired and they get very addicted to that. Very difficult to overcome. So, people make efforts. They try to, overcome by doing certain things, but doesn't work. Why? Because those are their tendencies. It doesn't go. Tendency to say lie. People have this habit of even, we say kleptomania. People like to flick things. It's a disease, but that's also tendencies as well. Okay, so some of these things are very difficult to overcome, but when you have the grace of the divine Lord, when you understand the teachings, when you understand what is good for you, why you have to do certain things in your life, then you will realize the truth about what these teachings mean to you. So you will make an effort to rise above in your life. You will not become like an ordinary human being. You will try to overcome your tendencies. See, trying, again, like my Guruji will say, every dog tries, but it is one who wins. So it's not about trying. It's about you have to say, I will overcome. That will to do. In one of the verse, Lord Shri Krishna says, right, the will is very important. The divine will. You have to have that will. The will is what you have to bring out within you. The will to do. That tremendous effort is required. Saying, no, come what may, I will, stay away from that addiction. I will not drink, I will not smoke. Whatever that your habits are, whatever the tendencies are, you will make conscious effort to overcome them. So he's saying, all living creatures follow their tendencies. Even the wise man acts according to the tendencies of his own nature. Of what use is restrained by force. So what is it saying is that even the wise man acts according to the tendencies of his own nature. So what is the tendencies of a wise man? Have you observed any gurus? They're so beautiful, they're so divine. No matter what they do. Let me tell you one very important lesson here. The gurus work in a very weird manner. You can't even adequately figure out what is a tendency. One tendency that these gurus, the great masters have, is always to do good. They always care about the welfare of everybody, this entire universe. They care about everybody's well-being. And they know that there is something bothering you. They will remove that out. But see, their methods used are very difficult. It's very tough to go through it. You can't even fathom why they use such things, why they do what they do. But just that one lesson. I remember my Krishna Guruji's Gurudev, Lord Dattatreya, had told me this way back in time, in 2009. Just have faith. Even when everything is very tough, when you see no hope, there is no, ray of light, or there's no light at the end of the tunnel, just have this faith that everything is happening for the good alone. And hold on to your Gurudev's feet. Never leave that feet. Never ever leave him away. Don't give up on him. If it is going to be tough, he is going to push you to becoming the divine being. And to becoming divine is not easy. Like my Krishna Guruji will always say, you are that gold, that kaustubh, who Lord Shri Krishna adorns in his neck. But if I don't put you through that, in the fire to remove the impurities, how will you be that gold which will be adorned by Lord Shri Krishna? How will you become that kaustubh? You're already that. But the thing is, as a body, this body has those tendencies. Some of the, Shadripus we have, like we say, tendencies, all are inherent nature. But the purification has to happen. We can't carry those muck. Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa ji, he says that, the bowl, you have to go and wash it every day. Why do you clean every day? That's because even if you don't clean for a day, there might be some dirt in that. And in that dirt, can you boil any milk or any other thing? No, it'll spoil. It'll get spoiled. So what use is it? Similarly, this body is a temple. This heart of ours is a place where the Lord resides. It's a abode of the divine Lord. But if we don't purify the heart, purify the mind, how can the divine Lord manifest within us? How can we become divine? How do we realize this hidden potentials, the God-given abilities within us? We cannot. We'll also become like a crass human being. We'll not have the divine qualities. We'll actually, show the world how demonic we are. We will show the evil propensities, not the godly propensities. So you always have to have, divine disposition and not demonic disposition. That is extremely important. But to practice that, to live that, it's not easy. So the gurus, constantly, purify their disciples. They put them through the toughest of the situation to see how they fare. It's not that anything befalls you. Please remember, the guru is always, has his grace as a firewall around you. Come what may, nothing shall befall you. This is the absolute conviction you need to have. The guru says something, they act something, but you can't fathom. You can't use your petty mind to understand why a guru or a god does what he does. But in everything that they do, there is always a welfare of this entire universe. They don't just look about one person in that. Whatever they are doing, anything they do, they always bother about everybody in that. The world is included. In his world, it is all about inclusive. It is not exclusiveness. And that is the truth. So here, the wise man, the reason I was talking about this is, the wise man acts according to the tendencies of his own nature. The nature of a wise man is always to do good. So it is what you see. It's not so easy to understand. That's what I was trying to explain. Of what use is restraint by force? So Lord is asking, of what use is restraint by force? You can't restrain by force. You can't do that. When you try to restrain yourself by force, that same very thing that you're restraining, you're trying to control, you're restraining yourself from not wanting to do that, the same very thing will come blow back in a big time on your face. It's very tough. So he's saying there's no use by force if you do anything. So what is he talking about next? He's saying attraction and repulsion are rooted in all sense objects. This is very important to understand. Attraction and repulsion are rooted in all sense objects. Man should never allow himself to be swayed by them, because they are the two principal enemies standing in the way of his redemption. Oh my God, this is a very powerful lesson. Let me explain, little by little. Attraction and repulsion are rooted in all sense objects. Wow, what does that mean? Every sense object has an attraction or repulsion rooted in it. So that is why if you see any individual, they will always say, I like this or I don't like this. The same object can be a like, one can like it and the other one can dislike it. But the choice of liking and not liking is there within that individual. What I love, somebody might, hate it. It's like that. So what is he saying? Every sense object has the attraction and repulsion rooted in it. It is rooted. You don't have a choice. So what you're doing is, the moment you come in contact with that sense object, you say either you find it attracting or you repulse. Have you seen people, some people, when you come in contact with them, you just are repulsive. You don't like it. You don't even want to be in that presence. You hate them so much. You dislike, all these negative things. And there are certain people you are very attracted to. You get awed by them. You love to be with them. You want to talk to them. You want to, be in their company. That's an attraction. It could be for a human being. It could be for an object. It could be for a dress. Whatever that you want. Jewelry. Whatever is your likes and dislikes. Any sense object. It could be for a car. Anything. A dog. Everything put together in this universe. That attraction and repulsion is rooted in that. So you don't have a choice. So the way we respond and react is purely based on our own likes and dislikes. And where we are going to come back, we are going back in circle and we are coming back to that point of having equanimity of mind. So what does it mean? When you have equanimity of mind, even when you see that sense object, though the attraction and the repulsion is very much rooted in it, you are not going to like it or you're not going to hate it or dislike it. You will just have that equanimity. Okay, so what? And that object can react, that object can respond, that object can do whatever it wants to. You're not going to have any, likes or dislikes. You're perfect in that equipoise state, which means there is neither like or dislike for you. You are in that state of, you have attained the state of yoga of equanimity, which is what Lord Shri Krishna taught Arjuna in chapter 2. So now we're coming back to the same point, right? Man should never allow himself to be swayed by them. This is a very tough lesson. Man should never allow himself to be swayed by them. because they are the two principal enemies standing in the way of his redemption. What happens? A man gets swayed away. Imagine somebody says nice to you, you will feel elated. Somebody says something mean things to you, you will get very angry, upset. But why should either things affect you? Does that mean that who you are changes by other people's opinion? No. Let the world speak what they want. This is exactly my Krishna Guruji will teach us. He continuously teaches me, let the world behave. See, whether it is this body's parents, people around, acquaintances, whoever, right? Friends, foe, you name it. Everybody has their tendencies, everybody has their attraction and repulsion rooted in that all the sense objects. But what is important for us? I don't have to react and respond. That is the most important thing. Why am I getting swayed? When I see something that I like, I'll get excited, happy, But when I see the same object, which is like, oh God, I don't even want to face this, how do I react? I'm repulsive. You should see the people's face, it's always, sometimes they say, no, face is the mirror of your mind. So what happens? It is very much shown on your face that you dislike something, you're hating something, you're not comfortable at that point in time. But why are we getting swayed? There is no need for us to sway. Please remember, the most important lesson you need to live here is practicing the yoga of equanimity. Lord Shri Krishna had taught us in second chapter that Arjuna, you be self-controlled. Strive to practice this yoga of equanimity, he says. Being self-controlled, striving hard is the way forward in our life. That we should not be getting swayed when such things happen. What happens if we get swayed? He says, because they are the two principal enemies standing in the way of his redemption. Imagine, you're just that short. My Krishna Guruji will always tell me this thing. You're just that short of achieving your goal, but every single time I put you through the test, you fail. Because you either get upset, you say you like it, or you dislike it. So these are the two principal enemies standing in the way of one's redemption. Why would you destroy your own life? Just because you like something, you dislike something, why do you want to have that hate, love? You don't need to. See, this is the way, this one lesson which is so difficult to practice. It's not easy, let me tell you, because Lord Shri Krishna also is telling Arjuna the same thing. You have to strive. You be self-controlled, which means what? We have to practice self-control. We have to strive hard not to react. But that is a process and you have to go through. It's okay to fail. See, people do fall. You do tend to fail. It's not necessary that you will achieve this lesson on day one. You will be able to practice 100% on day one. No, it doesn't work like that. Because we have born with this human body. The body has its own tendencies. That is what in the earlier lesson Lord Shri Krishna himself is teaching. Because of the tendencies, everybody is going to act according to their tendencies alone, and which is born of his own nature. So he's saying, right, even the wise man acts according to his tendencies of his own nature, so that you can't change anybody. So what is that we need to learn? We need to learn to just let it be. Let it be also, again, I will not say, but can you just learn to not sway, not get disturbed by what you see? That is all you have to practice. See, when you focus on yourself, when you remember your goal, okay, I want to get redeemed, when that is your highest goal, then this thought of getting angry, upset, or any object disturbing you should not exist, or even making you feel nice about something. Why should you feel nice about something? There is no need, right? So that is what it is. So, therefore, he's saying, the only two principal enemies. What is he saying? Principal enemies. He's using the most important word. The two principal enemies standing in the way of one's redemption. What is that? Attraction and repulsion. Please give this up. The day we give this up, then we have already reached our destination. There is nothing for us to attain. And we just have to keep doing our duties in this world, because like Lord Shri Krishna says, nobody has a choice. Even if he is manifesting on this planet Earth, even he is working. So what makes any one of us tell that I don't want to work? We don't have a choice. Whatever is coming our way on its own without being asked for, that is our swadharma. Whether we like it or not, we have to do it. Because you are the chosen one. That body has been given that ability to perform the service of the Lord. It is Lord's work which we are doing. So you can't say that I don't want to do it. Nobody has a choice. Please remember, at the end of the day, like my Krishna Guruji will tell me, okay, let the people do what they want to. For how long are they going to do? They all have to come back in circles. They will exactly have to do what I have asked them to do. Earlier I told them in a nice manner. Now they will have to force perform the same action. So till you don't get too tight, slaps from the universe, you are not going to act. So he says, my universe will take care. Whether anyone believes in it or not, they are still going to end up doing that which they have denied me. So the serving the purpose of the Lord is the highest goal. Why we have this human birth as well. The first highest goal is to attain God realization or self-realization. And the second most important highest goal is in our life is the ultimate goal is to serve the purpose of the divine Lord. Do your swadharma, following the path of dharma. So let us continue with verse 35. One's own duty, though devoid of merit, is preferable to the duty of another well performed. Even death in the performance of one's own duty brings blessedness. Another's duty is fraught with fear. How beautiful is this? Let me read it once again. One's own duty, though devoid of merit, is preferable to the duty of another well performed. Means what? He's saying everybody has a duty. We all are given an example. A farmer's son today is going and becoming an IT engineer. He's not following his swadharma. Why is he trying to do somebody else's job? He has to do farming alone because that is what he's born with, that quality, with that abilities and everything. But if he don't do his own duty and tries to do something else, even though it is well performed, he's saying then he doesn't earn merit. There is no good karma accruing to him. There is no merit in that action, that duty that he's doing. Then he will again end up making committing lot of sins, which we don't understand. That is why everybody is coming back again and again. The cycle of birth and death is never ending, right, for human beings. But when the divine Lord, showers his grace on you, and when you are given a chance to become spiritual, when you have a guru under you, who's taking care of you, who's under whose tutelage you are studying, then it's the biggest opportunity of a lifetime. So everybody gets a chance. But the choice of either evolving or going off the path rests with you alone. Like my Krishna Guruji on his Facebook update posts a very beautiful thing. He says, look, I can only teach. The choice that you end up making rests with you alone. I am not responsible for the choices that you make. So that whatever the choice to becoming divine or becoming demon rests with you alone. How do you want to be? Is the choice that you have. Even to Arjuna, he's still teaching, right? But the choice Arjuna has to make. But if he doesn't make, then he's going to perforce perform the same action. So Lord Shri Krishna's method of teaching and working is very weird. Nobody can understand. That is why he's the master strategist. And he alone knows how this universe works. Because he's the one who has created this entire universe. It is emanated from him. That is what we keep forgetting. So, even death, so what is he saying? Okay, one's own duty, though devoid of merit, is preferable to the duty of another well performed. This is very important, right? Even death in the performance of one's own duty brings blessedness. Even death in the performance of one's own duty brings blessedness. How beautiful is it? And I'll give you a very beautiful example. We know someone, and this someone is a vendor, and his family business is about, they are into sari weaving. So they manufacture the saris, they get the saris weaved and they sell. Now this is a very old business. The grandfather, the great-grandfather, the father, and now the son. They're carrying forward the family business for many years now. But both the father and the son are highly educated. The father, I think, is a chartered accountant, and the son is an engineer. He's an IT professional. But he decided that I want to continue with my father's business. And his son, though he went and got a highly educated and everything, he decided to work with his father, which is very good. Which means what? He is doing one's own duty, which is born of his swadharma, which is born of his, the karma, because of the body, that particular duty has come to him. And he is not swaying from it. Oh, how much money will I make? I want to earn well. He never said that. It is very proud. I was very proud. It was a proud moment to witness that. And I was very proud of this person who has, taken the decision, which means he's doing his duty. So through duty, through karma, you attain, that is the divine Lord, you attain the supreme. So yoga of action. Through work, through the duty of his, he will be able to attain the divine Lord. Isn't that so beautiful? So what does yoga of action mean? Which means work is worship. When you are very sincere and truthful to that work, you will attain the divine Lord. So everybody has a path, and this is the path of Karma Yoga. That is why he says it is about yoga of action. So don't go and do somebody else's job, even though you can be the expert in that, but that is not for you to, doing that job. You're not being asked to do. But if you're a farmer's son, please go back to farming. Help your father, learn, advance, get knowledge in that field. Use the latest. How can you make that farm a great thing? That is what you have to think. But people want it easy way. They want to go and join IT companies and make money. And they say, why should I struggle in that field? This is the attitude people today show. So this particular person, it was very pleasing, to witness what they are doing. They're striving really hard. They're putting their heart and soul in getting those saris weaved and then selling it. That is their family business. So they're continuing to do. It doesn't mean that they are making millions and billions. No, but whatever they're genuinely able to earn, God's grace will be on them and they will be able to attain the divine Lord because they're performing their Karma Yoga. So even death in the performance of one's own duty brings blessedness. Even death in the performance of one's own duties brings blessedness. And even when you die, after having served at that moment in time, you will attain the divinity, is what he is saying. So another's duty is fraught with fears. So what is he saying? When you do someone else's duty, that is fraught with fear. So you become very fearful. Why should you? Even if death strikes you when you are performing your duties, which is your own duty, at that time you will attain blessedness. But another's duty is fraught with fear. But if you're doing somebody else's job, which is not yours, which is not meant for you, but you're continuing to doing it yet, then you will have to become fearful. It is fraught with fear. It comes with fear, then there is no point. There is no blessedness in that. So whatever that is your swadharma, when you walk that path, the divine grace is always with you. The divinity is the one who's working through you. This is the truth you need to understand. The God works through you. You're nothing but a puppet in the hands of the puppeteer. He's just moving the strings. He's the one who pulls the strings and you're dancing according to your tunes. I hope you understand this. Very important lesson. So then the Lord continued again saying, Arjuna is now again asking something. Let's see what Arjuna is going to say. Because he's still confused. He doesn't understand. He thinks that, oh God, now what am I supposed to do? Because Lord Shri Krishna now has telling me, no, I need to work like this, be like this, do like this. Now how does this work? Let us see what Arjuna has to say. Arjuna said, now impelled by what Krishna does this man commit sin even involuntarily, as though driven by force? So it's a question he's again raising to Lord Shri Krishna. He's saying, now impelled by what? That is Krishna. Now impelled by what? Krishna. Does this man commit sin even involuntarily, as though driven by force? So that's a question. It's a very valid question because the Lord has told him why it is important to do one's own duty, and even death in the performance of one's own duty will bring blessedness, while another's duty is fraught only with fear. So he has told all of this. So now his question is very much valid. So let us see what Lord Shri Krishna is going to answer Arjuna. Shri Bhagavan said, it is desire begotten of the element of Rajas, which appears as wrath. Nay, it is insatiable and grossly wicked. Know this to be the enemy in this case. Oh my God. The question was, does this man commit sin even involuntarily, as though driven by force? Yeah, it's a very valid question. So he's saying it is desire begotten of the element of Rajas. So what is the element of Rajas? It's a guna, that is Rajasic tendencies. Your full, your nature, your guna is Rajasic. You're like full of action oriented, but action with what? Egotism. I am the doer, I am the greatest, I'll achieve so much, I have done this, I am accomplishing this, I want to do this, this is my vision, this is what. And this person is always going to be doing. He loves to do, but in the Rajasic manner. It is not nishkam karma. There is no selfless action over there. There is no, but it is all about what Lord is teaching is about nishkama karma. But here the Rajasic person, the one who falls under the category of Rajas, he's always going to, he's going to be full of haughty pride. He likes his trumpet to be blown everywhere. He likes to be in the spotlight, limelight, you name it, everything. And he likes to say, I did it. So sense of doership is what he will claim. He says because of him this world is existing, because of him everything is happening. That's what he does. He takes credit to everything that he does. So which appears as wrath. What does it appear as? It appears as wrath. Nay, it is insatiable and grossly wicked. Nay, it is insatiable and grossly wicked. Why is it wicked? Because it is desire begotten of element of rajas, or desire. And desires are insatiable. You can't satisfy. You're always feeling, oh, I need more, I need more, I need more. How much more is enough? How much enough is enough? Because there's no limit to anything that we want in our life. It's like a bottomless pit. You want more and more. You keep filling that, bottomless pit, right? It goes and keeps falling down. But there is no stop button to it. How much, that's what I ask people. How much more is enough? Or how much more is more? What according to you is more or enough? That is something you need to answer. And if you don't do, then what happens? You're constantly, feeling the pressure to, I need this, I need that. Where will you get from? How much can you, get that? That is what you need to understand. How much do you need? But today you will not even be in a position to enjoy something. Why are you wasting your time, energy, life and effort, everything running after these petty desires? I know someone, people are old enough. People have become today, they've reached a stage in life where you have to just take the name of the Divine Lord. But here people are lost in this idiot box called TV, and they're busy watching matches, they're busy watching some soaps. But is this what you have to do at this age? It is an age where you have to take the name of the Divine Lord. You have to chant the name. You have to do something useful. My Guruji will always ask me one question. What is the legacy you would like to leave? To anybody. What kind of a legacy are you going to leave for this world? Will people even remember you when you die? No, only great men are remembered. And that's why Lord Shri Krishna has given an entire, many verses on that. Is what does a great man do? Why should he come and set a standard? Why the Lord himself has to work? And what kind of standard does he set so that the world also can follow him? That is the question my Guruji will always ask. But I see today's people, they're lost and they don't want to listen. They're so much into their mind space. They dwell in the mind. They're ego par excellent, Ego par excellence. They don't want to listen. They think they know it all. They've achieved it all. Whereas they have no knowledge about anything, and they think somebody else in front of them is an nincompoop. This is the way they think. Now, can you change your thinking? No, but you can change yourself. It's okay, because they're lost cause. They can't, it's like a dog's tail. They will never listen, or neither they will want to make an effort to change. They've already given up and, believe that is how life has to be led. And their mind will never allow them to learn, listen. It will never allow you. And the moment you open your mouth, they will bark like a dog, thinking that you're saying something wrong. That's their nature. So my Guruji will always say, keep quiet at that time. Don't speak a word. Just be quiet. You have to control yourself. You have to not come down from your position. It is very easy to lose our temper and definitely say a few things. Because it's under frustration you talk, right? But that is what you have to not do. So similarly, today, the world, doesn't realize and understand that when they have the time in hand, they need to do something worthwhile. Instead, they're running after their petty desires. I don't know how many TV that one person should have in a house. Have you seen some of the people in this world? Every room will have one TV. What are you going to do with that idiot box? That idiot box has, become useless. People watch all sorts of crappy things. They don't know how to, do good. They don't know how to see good things, learn. People don't make effort to do all that, but they will all watch all the nonsensical stuff. Have you seen this generation today? See, it's a very interesting thing that I've observed. Kids today emulate you, and like when Lord Shri Krishna is talking about why setting a standard is extremely important. Why does he do certain things? Why does he practically demonstrate how to live the way of life? Why is he championing this? Why is he teaching this? It's simply because the future generation will look at you and do the same thing. I know few families, sometimes, you might be just scrolling through reels, but your children are very observing. See, they are at an age where they're like a clay. You can mold them very nicely. And they absorb things too fast. They have a young mind and they are very vibrant, smart and intelligent. Today's kids are super fantastic, they are. But it's about how do you mold them? How do you channel that very good energy into making them somebody great? So if your parents or these kids, anybody, right, is doing this, watching reels and looking into Facebook and doing all sorts of things, don't you think the children are also going to do? And it is very easy for them to tell you, look, if you're doing, then I can also do. Absolutely. So why are you setting a wrong precedence? Why are you setting a wrong example? So you please remember, it all depends on you. You have to set a good example. You cannot behave like that in front of your children. So your children are going to learn the same thing. So it's a standard that you set. That's exactly what the Lord Shri Krishna, what the Lord has taught and what he's talking about. He said in the previous verse, in the last satsang, we learned that. He's saying, if I don't set the standard, then I will be cause of confusion among the people and also destruction of this entire world. So why should I become the cause? Nay, I don't want to become the cause or cause any confusion as well. So I do my duties, I work, I don't unsettle the minds of people. On the contrary, I set such a good example that everybody at least feels bad that someday in life we have to become like that. You should have a role model. Everybody should aspire to become somebody, right? And who is that somebody in your life? For me, it is my Krishna Guruji. Ultimately, I want to achieve being like him, and that's a lofty goal I have, and that's not an easy thing. So you have to make your idol. Who's your idol? Who do you want to replicate? Who do you want to be like? And that being, if he, one day also doesn't perform, then you'll also become relaxed, right? You'll say, oh, my Guruji only doesn't get up in the morning, so why should I get up? Let me sleep. It's never happened that my Guruji in the last so many years has ever, even for once, will not wake up in that time. That's the perfect he is. That's how perfectionist he is. Perfectionist again is a small word. He's a perfect being. He's the only one who's perfect on this planet Earth. So I tell the parents today when I speak to some people, I tell them, look, you can't do this. You can't watch reels in front of your children because you're setting a wrong example. Why should you watch? If you do that, then your children are also going to do that. But reels is not good. It is not meant for a 4-year-old or 5-year-old. But if you're being so relaxed, you're taking things casually. So what kind of a future are you creating? So who's to be blamed? Are the children to be blamed or the parents to be blamed? It is the parents. Why? Because they are encouraging. Today, the children cannot have their own phone. So why can't they lock that? Why is the Facebook open? Why are they allowing them to access? Who is going to take responsibility? If the parents today don't teach the children why they cannot watch some of this adult content, then the children will not know. They have their own channels. They have to be given books. Yeah, entertainment is important, but give them the kids movie that is going to enable them, motivate them, inspire them to become better human beings. It has to channel their thinking. They need to think ahead and they need to come up with something which can transform their life. The learning is the one that has to be always be implemented in their day-to-day life. They have to learn. It's not about school. They go through so much torture. That's not the case. It's not about sitting and going through the torture. That is important because today is the time for them to learn. Why should we feel like, oh no, they are too much stressed? No. Today that generation needs that. And they are very super smart. So you as a parent should be careful about what kind of an example are you going to set to your children. And not just that, what kind of a legacy as an individual you want to leave for the world to remember you as one thing. If somebody were to remember you, what is that one thing which you want to be known for? And that is how you have to live. And if you need to live, then you have to put a lot of effort. That is what Lord Shri Krishna is teaching here. So he's saying what? Know this to be the enemy in this case. So he's saying, nay, it is insatiable and grossly wicked. So what is wicked? It is desire begotten of the element of rajas, which appears as wrath, nay, it is insatiable and grossly wicked. Know this to be the enemy in this case. So stop giving up, rather I would say, stop having these desires. Give up the desires. It's not worth it. There's no point in having so many desires, insatiable desire. Your desire has to be to become perfect, become the best version of yourself. You don't have to become somebody else. See, everybody's perfect in their own place, and this is something we fail to accept, understand. God has made all of us as a perfect human beings. We are divine. Our nature is divinity. But see, remember, the divine and the demons live in this whole body itself. Either you can choose to be divine or you can choose to be a demonic individual. Who do you want to be? Kali Yuga, it is all about destruction. So what is going to rise? Kali is going to rise. What does that mean? So she is going to kill the demons, but you will become demonic in nature first. So you are going to only bring out your demonic evil propensities. That should not happen. So always bring out the divine qualities, because it's there within you alone. So that is exactly what the Lord is also saying. So let us do one last verse and we will stop here today. As fire is covered by smoke, mirror by dust, and embryo by the amnion, so is knowledge covered by desire. Wow, that is very powerful. What is he saying? Knowledge is covered by desire. He gave an example. As fire is covered by smoke, of course, yes. Mirror by dust. So you can't see clearly because the mirror is covered by dust. So how can you see yourself? You can't reflect, because the mirror has dust on it. It is not you who can't see it, it's because the mirror has dust on it. Similarly, so is knowledge covered by desire. So how will the knowledge reveal itself to you? See, we say self-realization, correct? So the knowledge about the truth has to reveal itself. It shines. In Tripura Rahasyam, Lord Dattatreya has taught a very, very beautiful lesson. So he teaches Parshuram, who's also an avatar of Lord Shri Krishna himself, right? You know that man, Parshuram avatar. So Lord Dattatreya, when he's teaching Parshuram, in that he's talking about when you're pure, when you become pure within your heart, when you are absolute divine being, the object reveals itself. The knowledge about the object, the truth shines in the object. What does that mean? No, so knowledge is covered by desire means you can't see the truth there. You can't realize it because knowledge is covered. So when you see the object, you're not going to understand the object in the light of the truth with the knowledge, because your knowledge is covered with desire. What is your desire? I want to own, I want to do this. See, we have endless desires, insatiable desire. That's what he explained in the earlier verse. Insatiable is the word. If you have insatiable desires, how are you ever going to, evolve? So having so many desires is not good, because with desires, you're not going to achieve anything. You'll try to, do your best all your life. Then one fine day you'll give up this body and die. Then what, you'll come back again as somebody else. You'll take another birth and come back. And then you have to go through the next miserable life of yours. But why do you need that? When you become a desireless being, the universe will give you what is right for you. And most important, what will you have? The knowledge. So it is knowledge. So is knowledge covered by desire. So knowledge is covered by desire. So that when you see anything, the knowledge in that object will not shine, because you are not pure in your heart. Your heart is filled with muck and desires. So when you have so many desires in your life, then where is the question of knowledge ever, revealing itself to you? It's never going to shine. It's never going to ever come to you. The knowledge, the real knowledge, the right knowledge is never going to come to you at all. Truth is not going to shine. So become desireless. Please surrender to the divine Lord and tell him, look, let me just surrender to you. I don't need any, I don't want to have anything. In the sense, I give up all my desires. I surrender unto thy lotus feet. Do what is right for me. When you just put that to universe, the universe takes charge. Your divine Lord takes charge of your life, and he will bestow upon you that which is very good, even beyond what you could have ever asked or imagined. That is what he will bestow upon you, and that will come sinless. There's no sin accruing to you, and then you will be able to have a beautiful life. So aspire to become desire. That should be your goal. With that, we'll stop at verse 38. The next satsang will continue from verse 39 onwards. Once again, thank you for joining the Bhagavad Gita satsang, the way of life as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. ओम श्री महागणपते नमः। ओम श्री गुरुदेव दत्त। ओम श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा। ओम श्री कृष्ण गुरुनाथ नाथाय श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम देवी दुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री कृष्णार्पणम नमस्तु। कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं